This is The Scoop for Tuesday.
I'm Sean Canahan with the WMNF News headlines. Florida's regular 2026 legislative session begins today. On Thursday, the House will take up a series of controversial issues during its first floor session. That includes a proposal to lower the minimum age to buy rifles and other long guns, and one that would repeal a long controversial medical malpractice law. HB 133 would allow people ages 18 and older to buy long guns in Florida. That would reverse a law that was passed in 2018 after the mass shooting at Parkland's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School that increased the minimum age to 21. HB 6003 would repeal a 1990 law in Florida that prevents certain people from seeking what are known as non-economic damages in medical malpractice cases. Governor Ron DeSantis has called for a special session in April to redraw Florida's district lines with an eye to giving Republicans a boost in congressional elections this fall. Florida Secretary of State Cord Byrd is arguing that a judge should reject a lawsuit challenging directives by state elections officials that invalidated about 71,000 petition signatures for a proposed recreational marijuana constitutional amendment. Attorneys for Byrd pointed to issues such as trying to prevent petition fraud as they defended the directives, which invalidated about 42,000 petitions signed by what are known as inactive voters, and nearly 29,000 petitions collected by out-of-state petition gatherers. The Smart and Safe Florida Political Committee, which is trying to get the recreational marijuana proposal on the November ballot, filed the lawsuit last month. The legal battle is playing out as the committee faces a February 1st deadline for submitting at least 880,000 valid petition signatures to the state. The State Division of Elections website shows 675,000 valid signatures. Though Smart and Safe Florida said last week more than 1 million voters had signed petitions for the recreational pot proposal. A Sunday vigil commemorating the 6-month anniversary of the death of Sayfollah Musallet, a Tampa business owner killed in the West Bank by Israeli settlers, was interrupted by agitators shouting hate speech. Here's more from WMNF's Chris Young.
The vigil took place at Ice Screamin', the shop Musallet owned in Tampa. According to those in attendance, police were called when 2 agitators began shouting hate speech and interrupting the vigil. In November, 2 men faced hate crime charges after harassing Muslims praying on USF's campus and streaming it online. Hiba Rahim, president of the Florida chapter of the Center for American Islamic Relations, says the Muslim community must now be prepared for these types of agitators.
Moving forward, we'll have to reach out for security beforehand. And it's unfortunate that it's come to that, but if this is the game they want to play, then we just have to be ready to respond in a way that protects our community.
A report from CARE shows discrimination and attacks against Muslim groups hit a new record in 2024, sparked by Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel. Chris Young, WMNF News.
A correction to that story, Hiba Rahim is the president of the Florida chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE. A tech industry group that has battled Florida social media laws in court is opposing new legislation called the Artificial Intelligence Bill of Rights. The Computer and Communications Industry Association sent a 3-page letter to the Florida Senate saying the legislation would impose an expansive and fragmented regulatory regime that risks chilling innovation, undermining free expression, and placing Florida significantly out of step with recommended federal and international approaches to artificial intelligence governance. DeSantis has made it a priority, and bills have been filed in the Senate and House. They address a variety of issues, such as establishing a right for parents to control children's interactions with artificial intelligence, saying people have a right to know when they're communicating with human or an AI system or chatbot, and setting rules about the unauthorized AI-generated use of people's names, images, or likenesses. The BBC will ask a judge to dismiss President Trump's $10 billion lawsuit against the broadcaster. Trump filed the lawsuit in December, claiming defamation and unfair trade practices over a documentary that edited a speech he made on January 6, 2021. That was before his supporters stormed the Capitol in Washington, D.C. The BBC apologized for the edit but denies defamation. Papers filed yesterday in Florida say the BBC will argue that the court lacks jurisdiction and that Trump failed to state a claim. The broadcaster's lawyers will also argue the documentary was not available to watch in the U.S. If the case continues, a trial is proposed for 2027. It'll be mostly cloudy today, highs in the low 70s. Tonight, cloudy, overnight lows in the high 50s. Cloudy and breezy tomorrow with a slight chance of a rain shower, highs in the high 60s. I'm Sean Canahan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.